Farmers have made a clarion call to escalate the protests against new farm laws. The farmers claim that they are ready for talks, but the centre has rolled back 3 farm laws. The agitating farmers accuse the government of purposely delaying the issue to make the protests weaker and playing divisive politics. Upping the ante against the centre, thousands of farmers they're going to be starting the Delhi Chalo march from Rajasthan Shahjahanpur through Jaipur Delhi highway at 11 a.m. today. Tomorrow, the protesters will gather outside DC offices, followed by hunger strike between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. On Tuesday, women and labourers are going to be joining in the protest. The farm union leaders have decided to sit on an indefinite hunger strike on 19th of December if the government does not relent. So far, farmers have blocked Ghazipur, Palwal, Tikri and Singhu borders of Delhi. The Chila border, which is between Delhi and Uttar Pradesh, has now been opened up after being shut for 12 days. And Prime Minister Modi has defended the new farm laws while delivering the inaugural address at FICCI's 93rd annual general meeting. He has said that reforms would benefit the farmers and provide new opportunities. His speech comes amidst the farmers' calls to escalate the protests. Here's more.
Farmers are in no mood to relent. Marathon talks between farmers and the centre have so far yielded no results. As the deadlock continues, Prime Minister Modi on Saturday made a spirited defence of the new farm laws. While addressing FICCI's 93rd annual general meeting, the Prime Minister said that the reforms were in favour of the farmers.
In reforms के बाद किसानों को नए बाजार मिलेंगे, नए विकल्प मिलेंगे, उन्हें टेक्नोलॉजी का ज्यादा लाभ मिलेगा। देश का कोल्ड स्टोरेज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आधुनिक होगा। इन सब से कृषि क्षेत्र में ज्यादा निवेश होगा और इन सब का सबसे ज्यादा फायदा अगर किसी को होने वाला है तो मेरे देश के किसान को होने वाला है।
Prime Minister Modi said that the new laws will bring in more opportunities for farmers and the reforms would help increase their incomes. He also spoke about mandis, which have become a major flashpoint between centre and the agitating farmers.
आज भारत के किसानों के पास अपनी फसल मंडियों के साथ ही बाहर भी बेचने का विकल्प है। आज भारत में मंडियों का आधुनिकीकरण तो हो ही रहा है। किसानों को डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पर फसल खरीदने बेचने का भी विकल्प दिया है। इन सारे प्रयासों का लक्ष्य यही है कि किसानों की आय बढ़े, देश का किसान समृद्ध हो।
But the big question is, will protesting farmers relent after Prime Minister's outreach and his assurances?
The Prime Minister has said that agricultural reforms will increase farmer income. But will that break the ice with the protesting farmers? With the government now going on a mega publicity blitzkrieg and the farmers gearing up to escalate their agitation until the farm laws are repealed, it is now a question first. With camera person Ajay Polami Saha in Delhi for India Today.
In the midst of the farmers intensifying their agitation, BJP ally and Haryana Deputy Chief Minister Dushyant Chautala has hinted that next round of talks between farmers and centre could be held soon. Asserting that he will ensure that MSP continues, Chautala expressed hope that talks between the farmers and the central government will be held in the next 24 to 40 hours. The comments came after Chautala's meeting with Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar and Rajnath Singh yesterday. Remember, Chautala had earlier stated that he's going to be resigning from the post of Deputy Chief Minister if he fails to secure MSP for farmers. Meanwhile, Haryana-based farmer groups met Narendra Singh Tomar last evening to express support for amendments proposed by centre. They appealed to the government to not withdraw the recently passed laws.
उन्होंने एक ज्ञापन देकर अपने हस्ताक्षर युक्त जो नए कानून आए उनका समर्थन किया और उन्होंने अपने अनुभव बताए कि किस प्रकार से नए कानूनों का फ़ायदा किसानों को मिल रहा है और मिलना प्रारंभ हो गया है और वो इन कानूनों का समर्थन करते हैं। मैं इस अवसर पर उन सभी किसान बंधुओं का हृदय से कृषि मंत्रालय की ओर से बहुत-बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ।
Farmers' protest is intensifying with each passing day. Defying farmers are relentless with their demand on repealing the farm laws.
कोई फैसला होगा हमारा।
आप आगे बात नहीं करना चाहते?
नहीं, सोच साथ नहीं कराएंगे, कानून वापस कराएंगे। जब रद्द होंगे तो उस टाइम वापस मुड़ेंगे।
On Saturday, toll plazas taken over by farmers were made tax-free.
This is the toll plaza which has been freed by the farmers union. You can see about 80 to 100 farmers who have gathered here. They have captured these toll plazas and they have removed the barricades, and all the vehicles are plying right now without paying the toll.
To tackle the situation, heavy security was deployed at the Agra-Lucknow border.
This toll connects Lucknow to Agra, and from Agra it is directly connected via Yamuna Expressway to Delhi. So certainly the administration and the government is on alert, and the kind of security deployment is there on the toll clearly gives us an indication that the government is prepared with the kind of agitation is coming from the farmers' side.
And the agitating farmers are all set to up the ante.
कितने लोग और आ रहे हैं यहाँ पे?
बहुत लोग आ रहे हैं, ट्रालियां में, गड्डियां में।
पंजाब से बन जाएंगे।
50,000 के लागे सागे। जिन्ना चक्कर हमारे हक नहीं मिलते, उन्हें चक्कर नहीं जाएंगे।
On Sunday, farmers will block the Delhi-Jaipur highway from 11 a.m. and on December 14th, farmer unions will sit on dharna 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
जयपुर दिल्ली वाला जो रोड है, उसको रोकने के लिए हजारों किसान कल 11 बजे वहां से मार्च करेंगे कि 14 तारीख को सारे देश के डीसी ऑफिस के सामने प्रोटेस्ट किए जाएंगे।
But the centre is confident that the situation will be under control and there will be a resolution soon.
मुझे लगता है कि ये सब हैंडल होगा। हम सब देसी लोग हैं, भारत के लोग हैं, और भारत की बात को भारत में ही निराकरण तक पहुंचाएंगे।
Centre's assurance is also backed by state leaders.
I am hopeful that there is a mutual consent between the centre and the farmer unions, and we can resolve this issue by talking. I am hopeful for next 28 to 40 hours there will be another round of talks and some conclusive statement can be out of both.
But opposition Congress once again slammed the Modi government over farm laws.
अगर ये कानून किसान पक्षधर हैं, तो पूरे देश का किसान आंदोलनरत क्यों है? एक किसान संगठन बता दीजिए जो इन कानूनों के हक में हो।
Farmer unions are now in a huddle discussing their next course of action. The government says they are still waiting for some kind of an approach from the farmer unions. Only then can talks resume. The farmer, however, at the moment believe talks can only take place if the government shows some inclination towards repealing the 3 farm laws. This is Aishwarya Paliwal reporting from the Ghazipur border with camera person Ashwini Helen.
And my colleague Preeti Chaudhary is now going to explain in detail Centre's contentious farm laws that have forced the farmers to camp at Delhi's border despite the biting cold and the difficulties and impediments. Here's a look.
Months after silent protests, farmers say, "Chalo Delhi." Police use water cannons and tear gas to prevent farmers. Borders of national capital sealed. Meetings fail to break deadlock. What are these protests for? It all comes down to 3 basic farm laws which the farmers now want repealed. So let's break down all these 3 laws for better understanding of our viewers and actually tell you what are the facts which the government says are in favor of the farmers and what are the fears of the farmers. Let's begin right now with the most contentious of the 3 laws, called the FPTC. Break it down for you. It's called the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. The government says that under this act, farm produce can be bought, it can be sold anywhere outside the established APMCs or the traditional mandis as such. Also, that under this, no cess or tax could be levied by the central government. The farmer fears this will bring about the end of the MSP. Also, for the states, the states will lose out a fair amount of tax which is levied in APMCs. Mind you, the farmer doesn't pay. In mandis or APMCs, it's not the farmer who pays the tax, it's the purchaser who pays the tax. Let's move on now to the other less contentious laws, the other two of them. The Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. Now, the government says it is in the farmer's favor because the farmer here can actually enter into a legal contract with any purchaser or a buyer or a private player, whoever he chooses, and there can be a legally bound agreement on pre-fixed prices, which somewhere down the line the government says will give the farmer a lot more security than it actually does at this point of time. The farmer says that farmers will be enslaved by big corporate houses and private players. An argument given by various farm unions here is where the interests of small farmers with small land holdings are concerned will be compromised as per this, the Essential Commodities Amendment Act. Now, this law allows the government to only regulate the flow of certain food supplies only during extraordinary circumstances, only during a famine or a war or any other natural disaster. That would mean that the government will lift the imposition on stockpiling on certain essential commodities, giving the farmer more flexibility to sell. And also, the government says this would reduce black marketing. The farmers here feel that they would be forced to sell their produce at a much lesser price, and the big corporate houses, the private players, would be buying this essential commodity, which was no longer an essential commodity, at a lesser price from these farmers, then resort to black marketing and drive up the price of the same commodity. So the biggest loser here would be the farmer, and the benefiter because of that black marketing would be the corporate. And ultimately, what does the economics of it say? If these three laws are for free open market, then how can you actually have MSP? Doesn't it go against the grain of a free market? And that is what the quandary is, which both the farmers and the government have got themselves in.
A Delhi-based law student has filed a plea in Supreme Court against protesting farmers camping at the borders. The plea that is going to be heard on 16th of December seeks removal of farmers citing disruption of emergency services in Delhi, which is reeling under COVID crisis. The plea states the gathering of farmers increases risk of COVID infection, highlighting inconvenience being faced by patients who frequently travel to Delhi for treatment. The plea further seeks movement of farmers to designated protest site as ruled by the Supreme Court earlier. In October this year, the Apex Court had observed that no public place or roads can be blocked indefinitely and that demonstrations are to be held at designated spots. And the showdown between the TMC and the BJP has escalated, continues in West Bengal ahead of next year's assembly polls. Bengal BJP has now alleged TMC of murdering BJP worker Sekad Bhaiwal in Bengal's Hale Sahar. BJP further alleged that 6 other workers are critically injured and were targeted during BJP's door-to-door outreach. TMC hit back at BJP's allegations and called workers' death a result of personal enmity. Meanwhile, Bengal Minister Subrata Mukherjee has made a shocking claim saying that BJP may conspire to assassinate Mamata Banerjee by sending her people secretly. Meanwhile, Centre has removed 3 IPS officers responsible for arranging security during Nadda's visit from their current position. MHA has given them central deputation. Ruling TMC has slammed the move, calling it pressure politics by the Centre and an attempt to create a state of emergency in West Bengal.
The Bengal showdown is only getting fiercer. The war of words continues over the attack on BJP President JP Nadda's convoy in Diamond Harbour on Thursday. Modi government seems in no mood to relent over the alleged lapses in Nadda's security. MHA has removed 3 IPS officers who were responsible for the BJP president's security during his Bengal visit and deputed them to central posts. Slamming the move, TMC claimed that Centre is terrorizing the officers by creating pressure and a state of emergency in Bengal.
The IAS or IPS officers are given allotted states. They are made state cadres They may go to the center on deputation, but the center has to ask for names from the state government, and then the state has to give them clarification. So what is being said is not right.
So unless the state releases them, they can't go on.
No, they can't go.
The Home Ministry has also summoned Bengal Chief Secretary and the DGP on December 14 to discuss the law and order in the state. The Mamata government has challenged this move, writing to Union Home Secretary and claiming vendetta politics. TMC says law and order is a state subject and the centre has no jurisdiction over it.
Under no law in the Indian Constitution, under no law, repeat, can the Home Secretary bypass the Chief Minister and summon the Chief Secretary and the DGP of a state. It is completely unconstitutional and against the federal structure.
BJP though claims centre is well within its right to summon the officials.
ममता बनर्जी हर टाइम जब विरोधी नेत्री थे उस टाइम क्यों बार-बार को चीफ मिनिस्टर को बार-बार अगेंस्ट में बार-बार सीबीआई चाहे करके चिल्ला रहा था। पहले ये बात बोलिए, हमारा केंद्रीय सचिव को 100% क्षमता है राज्य सचिव और आपका डीजीपी को बुलाने के लिए।
Both the Bengal Chief Secretary and DGP have sought exemption from the summons on Monday, stating that there were no lapses on their part. The West Bengal Chief Secretary in his reply to Centre said that the police have registered 3 FIRs under which 7 have already been arrested. But the Bengal governor in his report to Centre had claimed that the security protocol was violated during Nadda's visit.
Governance by Mamata Banerjee is getting increasingly distanced from rule of law and constitution. I have been cautioning her. There are 3 aspects that are indeed very worrisome.
While the future of the 3 Bengal cadre IPS officers hangs in balance, it has become the latest flashpoint between the central government and the Trinamool Congress-run Mamata Banerjee government here in West Bengal. The Trinamool Congress maintains that such unilateral action against the 3 IPS officers amounts to threatening and intimidating state bureaucrats who are working as part of the West Bengal government. With camera person Probir Biswas, Indrajit for India Today in Kolkata.
Welcome back. Delhi is gearing up to store vaccines for its citizens in a big way. A new cold chain storage facility is now being created at the Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital to facilitate the phase 1 of vaccination drive for healthcare workers. Here's a look.
The wait for COVID-19 vaccine may soon be over, and preparations are already underway for their storage and distribution. Delhi will soon be ready to stock vaccines to inoculate its healthcare workers in the first phase of the biggest vaccine exercise. At the Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital in East Delhi, this 3-story building is being renovated to serve as cold storage facility when the vaccines arrive. From here, the vaccines will be delivered to more than 600 locations within Delhi.
We are going to store the COVID vaccines, and from here the vaccine will be circulated amongst the demand of Delhi, and we have allotted the ground and first floor of this area for the storage of COVID vaccines, and we'll be having all the refrigerators, all the freezers of -70, -40, 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, and as per the requirement the vaccines will be stored.
Freezers that provide storage at -40 degrees, -20 degrees and between 2 to 8 degrees will be placed for various kinds of vaccines. The storage facility will also have adequate security to ensure that there is zero pilferage of the precious shots.
We are going to have security measures, various including the CCTV coverage, so whatever is required. So that will also be taken care.
Storage is a major challenge, especially as some vaccines such as Pfizer's require temperatures as low as -70 degrees, and countries are exploring all options at hand. In South Korea, refrigeration warehouses which were used to store tuna and other goods are now being considered as possible suitable facilities for storing the Pfizer vaccine. Delhi will see about 1.5 lakh healthcare workers get vaccinated in the first phase. That will take about 5 days. A state-wise list of medical staff from both private and government hospitals is already being prepared.
Preparations for the ambitious vaccine drive are underway in the national capital. Right behind me, this 3-story building is going to be one of the prime cold storage facilities across the national capital, where we are going to have cold chain storage facilities under -40 degrees. Apart from the Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital, there's one another center that would become the base and inventory for cold storage facilities of COVID-19 vaccines. With Premchand Mishra, this is Milan Sharma for India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.